Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra, and to start this class, child's pose. So come on over, grab whatever props make you happy, and let's get set up for a very peaceful balasana. I'm going to pop a block under my bolster. You can do whatever you would like. Just settle into your pose and close your eyes. And of course, remember, if your knees don't like this pose, a blanket behind the knees is helpful, or flip over onto your back and hug the knees into the heart. And so as you settle in here, closing the eyes, I just want you to think about just this pose. So we're going to talk a little bit about being grateful for the small things. This is a nice, small, contained pose where we can be blissful, right? That we can just settle in. We have no work to be done, nothing to do. And then you might consciously just take your focus to the hands and feel your mat underneath you. Another small thing that we can be grateful for. The mat always shows up to our practice. Isn't that crazy? It's here to support us. It keeps us within its edges. And so in that sense, it guides us. And so hanging out here for a moment before we rise to set an intention, I just want you to think of a couple of small things, perhaps that have happened recently to you, that you're grateful for, that stood out to you, that you noticed, that in some way made a difference. While you're thinking about that, go ahead and turn the head to the other side. Have you thought of a couple of just tiny things, right? Don't have to be grand, don't have to be huge. Just something small. Give you another moment to think about that. Lengthen out the breath. And when you're ready, slowly walk your way back up. If it's okay with your legs sitting back on the heels, if it's not, change it up or add a couple of blocks between the ankles. That'll make this easier on the knees. You know, we are going to be kind of sitting like this a little bit in this sequence, so you make whatever changes you need to. Sitting like this is not necessarily the important part of what we're doing, so it doesn't matter to me if you need to change it up or you want to change it up. So when you get comfortable, let's go ahead and take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together, release them home to the heart in prayer pose, and pause here to set your intention for your practice. And then go ahead and release the arms when you're ready. So I'm going to move that prop out from underneath me. So if you added a prop, slide it aside, but keep it close. So when we get back to that pose, you have it when you want it. And then let's come to table. So stretch out that left leg behind you, tuck the toes, push into that heel. A little movement if you want to. And then let's bring the weight over that supporting knee. Lift the left leg parallel to the earth. Send the right arm forward into a fabulous cat balance. Deepen the breath. Good job. On your next exhale, right hand's coming back down. Set the toes back down on that left foot. Push back into the heel. So I got a new toy. Anyone watching who's considerably younger than me is not going to find this exciting. But you know, as you get older, the weirdest small things get you excited. And so this is kind of what gave me my theme, so you're going to have to bear with me. Go ahead, lift that back leg, take it parallel to the earth, right arm forward. Let's see here. Well, it's something useful. It's something I've never owned before, something I never thought I needed before. Ooh, that's the key right there. Right hand back down, set the toes down, push back into the heel one more time. It is saving me time. It is, let's see, I'd say saving me worry, but worry is not really the right word. It's saving me time double checking myself. And it gave me this idea about looking at the small things, how, really, when we're trying to make a big change, or we want something big to happen, isn't it usually a congregation of little tiny things that have changed to get us there? So the small things are really important. Okay, lift that leg back up one more time. Hold it here. Draw the core in. Tighten the glute. And back to table. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Walk it out. And then let's bring the knees back down. Send the right leg out behind you, tuck the toes, push into that heel, get a good calf stretch. So let's see, this object made me think of the symbolism like of cleansing in a really weird way. It could be kind of meditational. Let's see, has to do with nature. Let's see, I'm not even asking for guesses because besides the fact that I can't hear you, none of the clues I gave you are good. So go ahead, lift that back leg, extend the left arm forward, hold it here, breathe. And set that left hand down, set the foot down, push on back. So we recently had these arborvitaes planted, and then I ripped out a bunch of lilies and put in some hostas. And I was pulling the hose, over and setting it under one arborvitae, going all the way back to the spigot, turn it a little, run back. How much water is coming out? Is it too much? How long should I set the timer for? And then go ahead, lift that leg, send the left arm forward. I thought, maybe it's time to get a soaker hose. I told you this wasn't going to be exciting unless you're older and you can appreciate the stupid things, right? Go ahead, set that left hand down, set the foot down, push on back. This soaker hose, why have I not had one before? I'll tell you why, because I am not a gardener. My theory is if you're planted in my yard, you have to grow yourself. However, it's like 90 degrees out and these trees are asking for water. So the soaker hose is really cool. It's porous and it's like a little miniature water fountain running along its edges, right? And it saves me time. Go ahead, lift that leg back up, hold it here, tighten everything, because I don't have to set the timer 3 different times for 3 different trees, right? And I know it's always the right amount of water that's coming out. Okay, set that knee down, tuck the toes, walk it out and gone. So yes, I was very excited about my new purchase. And at what a small, kind of insignificant purchase it was. Go ahead, come on back down. Take it to child's pose for a moment. But sometimes it is those little things that make a big difference, right? We all have, I shouldn't say we all, I'm assuming most of us have some goofy kitchen gadget that we saw advertised somewhere. We're like, oh my gosh, there is a tool for that, right? So we all have something along those lines where you get really excited about it. Is it a necessity? Well, no, I could keep moving the hose and, running back and forth to get the speed of water just right. But man, it certainly makes it easier and more entertaining. All right, take a deep breath here. Perfect. Come on back up into table. So notice we realigned the knees, right? They're parallel, they're underneath the hips. Stay here with the legs, push back to child's pose. Now we're gonna slide all the way through and forward into cobra. So I want you to drop the forearms to help you out here. Slide the heart through, and then all the way onto your stomach. Find a small lift in cobra, bhujangasana, breathe. So do we have to come all the way up? Well, no, we're talking about small things, right? So I would rather you appreciate each pose, keeping it little and finding what makes this a learning lesson, a yoga lesson for you this morning, rather than coming all the way up unless your back is like, yes, please, I need that stretch. Okay, push it back to child's pose. Keep the legs as they are. Stay here for a few breaths. You might want to sway the hips back and forth. Deep inhale. Exhale, slide through to cobra. Inhale, lift. Let's hold it for a moment. And when you get to an exhale, back to balasana. Keep the legs as they are. You can move around if you want to. Move through the shoulders a little bit. Deep inhale. Exhale, bhujangasana. Hold it here. Keep breathing. And then let's slowly push our way back up into table and come back to sitting on the earth. So if you have a strap, go ahead and grab it. If you do not have a strap and you happen to be watching this, pause it and just go grab a belt or I like to suggest always that, a tie to a robe or just something similar. It doesn't have to be a yoga prop. And then I want you to go ahead and take that out in front of you. I folded mine so I won't get hit in the face with the metal rings. I have it wider than my shoulders. This will be different for all of us. If the shoulders are super tight or they are a little upset with you today, you might want to go wider. So you gauge as we go, right? All right, so send the arms straight forward. Nice, firm, tight grasp on the strap. Sit up tall, pull the stomach in just a little bit. Inhale, take the arms up, try to keep the shoulders plugged into the sockets. If you end up up toward the ears, thinking they're helping you out, just lower them back down once you get the arms up. Breathe here. Exhale, arms back down. In front of you, parallel to the earth. Still gripping that strap. In fact, I'm pulling so hard I can see the strap shaking. Go ahead, lift up. And back down. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, back down. Last one, inhale. Take the arms up, hold it here. See if you can bring the arms a little bit further behind you. Just a little bit. So if they were, in front of the ears, can they meet the ears? If they were already at the ears, can you go a little bit behind? All right, good job. take the right hand and pull it back. So we're just going to add a little twist to the right here. Strengthen that breath. On an exhale, come back through center. Take it all the way to the left. Good job. Come back to center. Are the arms getting tired yet? If you said yes, good. Stay there. Pull the strap so the left arm is right by the ear. Swing that right arm behind you and then pull down. Keep breathing. So these are small movements. This strap is a small prop, right? Yet it makes a difference. It's doing something. Okay, slowly bring the arms back up. Left arm's pulling so the right arm is by the ear. Sweep the left arm behind you, pull down. You're breathing into the stretch, right? Not holding the breath. Good job. Slowly come back up. I know, the arms are a little tired. It's okay. Widen out a little bit. You'll know if you needed to or not, and you can always change this. Let's start to take the arms behind us. If you get to a point where the arms aren't going any farther, you stay right there. Don't force this. But, you know, you might be able to bring the arms all the way down behind you and then right back up. Again, we're not forcing it. If you're right here, stay right here. All good. Breathe. Let's do that one more time. And then bring the arms down. Drop that strap, shake them out. Nice. Right arm across the chest. And then switch it up. So, you know, in talking about small changes while you're on your mat today, maybe you find a way to make a small change within a pose or a transition that you haven't done before. Don't worry about if I suggested it or not, or I'm doing something totally different. If you can think of something, why don't you add it and see how that impacts the pose? Release the arms. So what's one thing you could do? Well, let's draw the shoulders up, take them back and down. And perhaps just sitting here, maybe you notice that you always have the gaze forward. Well, maybe you just drop the head for a little bit. Maybe you take the head back. So it could be something so minute, right? Perfect. Okay, inhale the arms. Take the gaze upward. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fabulous. All right, we need that strap again. Go ahead and put a loop in it. All right, go ahead and put the loop right over you. And then we're coming down onto our backs. So keep that loop pretty big right now. I'm going to take my right ankle and rest it on top of my left thigh. So supine pigeon, right? You have some options here. I'm going to actually loosen this just a little bit more. So as you pull that left leg in, can you get this strap around that right leg and on top of the left shin? And then we'll tighten. Oh yeah, I can feel that. So that's going to hold the legs in place here for you. You don't have to work. We've made this ultra restorative, I hope. And then just try to close your eyes. So when we do supine pigeon, we don't usually use a strap in this manner. So we made a small change. And I want you to consider what you think about that. And truly, I just want you focusing on the little things. It isn't even a theme about change per se. So if I took that word out of what I've been saying, just focus on the small things. The small thing here might be the strap. Well, I can feel it hugging that left knee in for me. I feel it pulling against my low back, and maybe I want to shift that down a little bit under the hips, who knows, and then tighten. Just the little things, right? How they make a difference. All right. Keep the left leg where it is. Hopefully it feels pretty secure. Let's just straighten that right leg up, and if you need to hang on to that leg, go ahead. Couple more breaths. Now, while you're here, this would be a good time to loosen that strap because we won't be able to set that right leg down. The strap's in our way, so loosen it. When you're ready, go ahead and get both feet through and back safely to the mat. Just to pause here and close your eyes. All right, when you're ready, that left ankle is going on top of the right thigh. Right leg leaves the ground. Strap around that left leg, get it on top of the right shin, and tighten. And when you feel like that strap is helping you, holding you in place, close your eyes, let go. When I get you into your next restorative pose and kind of settled, I have a Zen story for you about appreciating something small and the lessons that it might hold. Perhaps that'll change the things you visually see all day long today, just noticing things that perhaps we walk right on by. Okay, keep the right leg where it is. Straighten that left leg up. And go ahead and loosen the strap again. When you're ready, you can get that left leg to come back through, set the foot on the earth. You can just drop that strap on your abdomen. It's not going to bother us. Ah, fabulous. Okay, wiggle the feet to the width of the mat. Drop the knees to the left. From here, I'm going to reach both arms overhead. My right hand is just grabbing gently onto that left wrist. And then I'm just going to pull on that left arm just a little bit, finding a little more length there. I hope you're staying very consciously connected to your breath. I don't want it to be like a focus of pranayama right now or overwhelming, but a consistent, nice, deep breath. Bring the knees back through center. Take them to the other side. Switch the hands so the left hand is holding on to the right wrist. And a gentle pull. And then let's bring the knees to center. Release the arms. I just had this sudden thought, so it might work for some of us, it might not, and that's okay. Loosen this circle even more. It's really going to depend on how long your legs are, how long your strap is, and our flexibility today. So let's go ahead and get the knees in. I was kind of thinking that we could take this strap over the feet in the happy baby, right? And then you'll find out if you need to tighten it to help hold the feet in place. You can still use the hands if you want to. This kind of makes me want to rock. So if that makes you want to rock too, go ahead and add that movement. I feel like I'm on some type of upside down swing or hammock. I don't think you can have an upside down hammock. We'd be on the ground. Okay, come back to stillness. Let go of that strap. Let it drop. Stretch out the legs. And just find a momentary shavasana. Don't go to sleep on me. We're just pausing here. Okay, go ahead, roll to a side. Take a couple of breaths here, and then we'll make our way back up. And once you come up, go ahead and set that strap off to the side here. Grab your bolster. Vertically behind you, you're going to need a block to prop up the far end. Sit with that left hip right next to the bolster. Legs are draped to the right. Ready? All right, sit up tall, turn toward that bolster, and come on down. You decide if you want to put the right ear to the bolster or the left. Either way, choose what makes you happy. Get super comfortable. Close your eyes, and let me share with you this Zen story so that we can keep working our theme. So there's a story that one day Buddha was holding kind of a conference, if you will, at a place called Vulture's Peak. And, as the stories vary, there were hundreds to thousands of people gathered there. Some say there were monks and bodhisattvas and even deities, and who knows, right? And some of the descriptions of this story say that Buddha did give a speech, and others say he said nothing. And so, but where they both agree is that after the speech, if there was one, and in the midst of that other idea of nothingness, what he does is he holds up a flower and he just twirls it between his fingers. So just imagine you've shown up to hear the teachings of one of the early Buddhas, and he simply stands there, quiet, says not a word, holds up a flower, and just twirls it between his fingers. Some say that this is a true story, and some say it is a fable. But I suggest to you that it doesn't really matter, that sometimes stories are made up for a purpose, for a moral, for a reason. There's a lesson there, right? The last part of the story that I didn't give you yet is that as he does this, there is only one person in the crowd who smiles. And Buddha sees that. That is a man by the name of Mahakashyapa. And because he smiled and Buddha did that, Buddha grants him the authority to be the very first Zen teacher. He gets to, offer these teachings. So why do you suppose this monk smiled? Nobody else did. Imagine if the story is true and there were thousands of people there. Why would only one person smile at the twirling of a flower? Do you suppose the others were a little bit put off? That they've come all this way and there are no teachings per se? I'm going to pause right there. I need to get you to your other side. Go ahead, take a deep breath. Push your way up with that exhale. Turn around so your right hip is to the bolster. And you know the drill. Take your time getting settled into that pose. I'll wait for you. And so the speculation is that Mahakashyapa, was a real man, was a real person. But the reason that he smiled is because he understood that truth and teachings exist everywhere, in everything. So there is a lesson in just that simple flower. Nothing else has to be said. So this story could, kind of be represented as a koan. Remember, we've talked about Japanese koans before. They are generally setting you up with a riddle that doesn't have an answer. It's to make you think about it. And so that particular story and this image of the twirling flower being a lesson brought me right back to my new favorite toy, the soaker hose, right? The soaker hose is about slow contemplation. It is about taking time to get something done instead of being in a hurry. And then, ironically, it actually saved me time. It's kind of about appreciation, right? I kind of appreciate, I know this is going to put me in the crazy spectrum, when you turn on the hose, if you've never watched the soaker hose fill up, how the water moves through and you've got these little bubbles of fountain water coming up and it moves down the hose, I think that's kind of cool. I like standing there and watching it. It is kind of meditational and I appreciate it. It's this idea of completing a quest, completing a goal, completing a job, completing an intention. It is my intention to keep those trees alive, even though the rule, like I said, in my backyard is grow yourself. So there are little lessons all around you, all around you. And that's what that Zen story is about. Take a deep breath. When you get to that exhale, slowly push your way back up. Let's go ahead and move the props. And then flip on over. I want to come up on the knees. And just get comfortable here for a moment. If you need your blanket to put between your mat and your knees, absolutely go ahead. When you're ready, inhale, take the arms straight out in front of you, parallel to the ground. Exhale them down. I want you to be conscious of lengthening from the knees all the way up the spine through the crown of the head. Draw that stomach in slightly. We're not sucking it in. It's just a little bit, right? So there's some control here. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale them down. I want you to keep that control in the abdomen. Inhale, arms up. Now, this time as you exhale, You're coming down, the arms are sweeping behind you. We're coming into rabbit, so I'm going to grab my heels, bring the top of my head to the earth, and lift my hips. Very slowly, take your time. We're coming back up onto the knees. I want you to go slow because I do not want this to be a head rush. And if you shouldn't be upside down, then come down and lower into child's pose with maybe a prop under your head. We're slowly coming back up. Arms out in front of you. Stay right here. Retighten that ab. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale the arms down. Inhale the arms. Exhale, the slowest transition into rabbit ever. Grab the heels, let the top of the head down, lift the hips. Your arms should be straight in this pose. The tops of the feet should be resting on the earth. If you can't get here and reach your heels, don't worry about it. Drop the arms down. You should feel a rounding in the shoulders, space between the shoulder blades. We're slowly lowering the hips to come back up. Slower than coming down to get here. I don't want you finding, again, that head rush. I don't want anybody getting dizzy. I want you just to take your time because we have nowhere to be. Inhale the arms. Exhale them down. Inhale. Exhale. This time, inhale the arms all the way up. Take the gaze up with them. Bring the hands together. Exhale to the heart. Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do is sit back onto your heels. Now, before you change anything, because I know I told you go ahead and change, you don't have to sit here. I just want to tell you what we're going to do so that you know how to change it. If this is okay with you, we're dropping the hips off of the feet to the left, right? So I'm coming completely off my feet. So if this doesn't work for you, maybe start out somewhere like this with the feet further away. So you're just tipped over into that hip. Totally up to you. If you need to find a different way to sit, that's okay. So I'm sitting to the left of my feet. I can feel, already I feel a stretch going up through my left hip, kind of into, the side space. Right hand to the earth, as far away as you can get that hand. Inhale the left arm up. And now a side bend to the right. Take it slowly. Deepen the breath here. Close your eyes. Can you feel this stretch all the way from the left hip up to the armpit? Turn the head to look down. And then use that right hand to push the ground away. So we come back to center. Release the left hand down. I'm going to tip into my left hand so that I can straighten up this top leg. Now from here, it's just a simple matter of lifting the hips up and coming into a supported side plank. That top arm can do whatever makes it happy. Huge inhale. Exhale, come on down. Everything slow, take everything slow. I'm going to pull that top leg back in. I'm just going to shift my hips back over my heels and drop down to the right. So again, you need to set this up differently. I'm here with you. If you want to sit cross-legged in easy pose, no problem. Left hand to the earth. Reach that hand way out there. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Hold it here. Turn the head downward. Inhale through center. Release the right arm. I'm going to tip my weight into that arm so I can stretch out that top leg. When you're ready, big lift of the hips, send the top arm up or over or behind you. I'll see if I can grab onto Ganesh. Fabulous inhale. Exhale, slowly come back down. And then let's go ahead and get seated on the mat. Open the legs up into a V. Grab some props that make you happy. They all make you happy, right? Let's put those down in front of us. We're going to create a fabulous restorative fold right here. So you set up whatever's going to work for you. And I'll just keep talking your ear off after you get settled. So once you are in place, you're happy, well, relatively happy. You probably wouldn't have chosen this restorative pose, but you're relatively happy and you are comfortable and the body is happy. I want you to close your eyes and think about, why do we hold poses in a restorative class or a yin class longer than other types of yoga? Go ahead, just see what answer pops into your head. Check in with the body, notice what it's feeling. I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought, but this will help you get to an answer. Just notice. Okay, go back to thinking. Why do we hold these poses longer in restorative and yin yoga than we would in like a, a vinyasa or a different type of yoga class? Stay where you are. Check in with the body again. Does it feel different? Does it feel the same? Okay, go back to just being. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Cleansing exhale. Check in with the body again. Go back to just being. Check in with the body. And notice I'm saying the body. We're not checking in with the mind. The mind at this point could be a little frustrated. It's possible, the mind is, I don't like this pose, ready to move. Ignore that nonsense. Unless you're in pain, then you should have already withdrawn from the pose, right? I want you to tune into the body. Okay, go back to just being. Check back in with the body. Now, this time what I want you to notice is between the times I keep asking you to check in, from that first time, incrementally up to now, what has changed? Yeah, see, I hear you all shouting the right answer to me. That's exactly it. When we hold the poses longer, there is the opportunity for a more complete muscle relaxation. If we were to open the legs out into a V, come on down into our fold and stay here for 20 seconds, the hamstrings would say hello to you, and we'd pop back out, and there wouldn't be a melting of the muscles. We wouldn't have actually been restorative. And I'm hoping that what you noticed is the longer we sat here and kept checking in, the more the muscles loosened up. Maybe the pose became easier, happier. Either that or you're yelling at me right now, get me out of this pose. But you're getting my point, right? So we hold the poses so there's a more complete and thorough relaxation of the body, which is why we're here, right? Deep inhale. Loud exhale. Go ahead, make your way out of that fold. I'm going to set my props aside first. At this point, who knows if the legs can move, so get your hands under the knees, pull the legs in. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's come into Sukhasana, easy pose. Rest your hands on your knees, drop the head, close your eyes. And then just slowly lift the head back to center. And let go of your breath. If you have a blanket, let's grab the blankets. Just gonna make a very peaceful neck roll with that, toss it out behind me, which means, of course, we're coming on down, so you should be super happy. Ah, yes, perfect. Once you get here, hug the knees into the heart. And then when you're ready, straighten out that left leg. Let's set up for our supine twist to the right. So arms can either be in scarecrow or straight out from the shoulders. Bring that right knee across. If you need a prop to catch it, go ahead and grab one. And just close your eyes. Thinking about, which poses on the mat elicit that response that this is something small, but it is awesome, right? Like maybe when you come into this pose, your back cracks and it just feels so good. So you're appreciative of being right here. It can be just something little, right? And so your homework is for the rest of the day, maybe tomorrow too, depending on what time you're watching this video. I want you to find some things that your eyes can grab a hold of, something small, and just carry that with you. Think about it. If it's in your house, why do you have it? Where did it come from? Did it belong to somebody before you? What is the lesson in that object that you chose? Maybe it's something outside, so you've decided to focus on your tomato plant, and how awesome it's going to be to, pick the next ripe tomato and what that's going to taste like. Let's go ahead and pull that twist back to center and gently switch out the legs. Take that twist when you're ready. And then, I told you at the beginning I was talking about small changes, yet the theme wasn't exactly about change, but if that resonated with you, like, yes, I need to make some small changes, then I have one other homework assignment for you that I thought of. Sometimes it's hard to make a change because of the emotional attachment to whatever it is we're trying to change. So I was thinking, well, what's one easy thing you could do to get this kick started? We all have something in our house that we don't like. Don't raise your eyebrows at me, it's true. You have something in your house that you hang on to either because of the person who gave it to you, or who owned it before you, or where you got it from. You don't like the object per se, but those are the reasons you hang on to it. So if you kind of like this homework idea, I want you to find one of those objects in the house, detach from the emotion that you have associated with that object, and give it to somebody else. Recycle it. Drop it off at a thrift shop and let it go and see how that change feels. All right, go ahead. Bring that knee back to center. Hug both knees in. Option A, stay right here. Option B, use your first two fingers on your hand to grab the big toes, and we'll slowly stretch the legs to wherever they want to go. They don't have to straighten. You can rock this out forward and back if you want to. Where's your focus here? Is it on the hamstrings? Is it on not over or hyperextending the knees? Is it on flexing the feet? Is it on the stretch in the shoulders and the arms? Is it how awesome the blanket feels underneath your neck? What are you focusing on? I know your answer is probably none of that. Ready for Shavasana, let's go, right? We're almost there. Big inhale. Exhale, rebend the knees. Set the feet down on the mat and walk them out, stretching your legs out. Yes, here you are. If you want to add any props to your Shavasana, go ahead. If you're comfortable where you landed, you simply need to close your eyes. Shavasana in itself, this one pose, this one very subtle and quiet pose, has a lot of teachings within it. So I don't want you to think about that while you're in Shavasana. I want you to experience it. So close your eyes, settle in. You'll hear my voice when I come back to get you. Georges Bernanos wrote, "Little things seem nothing, but they give peace, like those meadow flowers which individually seem odorless, but all together perfume the air." Imagine you can smell that beautiful perfume, breathe it in. As you exhale, bring some movement back into the hands and the feet. And perhaps if you feel ready, you might want to roll to a side in a fetal position. And then slowly make your way back up. Deep inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale. Again, deep inhale. Loud exhale. Last one because I couldn't hear you guys. Deep inhale. Loudest exhale. And then take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together and release them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.